this morning I'm starting my day off by doing a Segway tour of Philadelphia, and I'm a little tiny bit nervous about riding them, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Just have to make sure I wear my helmet and have balance. At the shop, I met Deshaun, who would be my guide for the morning. He taught me how to ride a Segway, and once I felt confident enough, we headed out on our tour. Thank you to Deshaun for taking video and photos. As we cruised around the streets, I noticed that there were buildings covered in mosaics. It turns out there's a local artist who has a museum that can be visited, so that's on my to-do list for our next visit. I highly recommend doing a Segway tour, and in all our future travels, I'll be looking for opportunities to give it a go, because I think Jack would really enjoy it. If this looks like something you would enjoy, you can go to phillybysegway.com and book directly through them. While I was off on my Segway tour and my little wander around the neighborhood, Jack was at the National Tournament for High School Squash. His team was playing at the Germantown Cricket Club. While I was waiting for my Uber to come, Jack pulled up in the school bus. So are you headed to the parking now? I'm catching an Uber to the Underground Donut Tour. I joined the Underground Donut Tour because I thought, A, that's a great way to see the city and get to know some of the neighborhoods, and also donuts. Delicious. Our first stop was at Federal Donuts, where we tried cookies and cream, cinnamon and sugar, and a lavender and strawberry donut. It was delicious. Then we headed out to go find Dottie's Donuts. Here at Dottie's, they make handmade vegan donuts. We were invited up to the counter to let them know what donut we wanted, and there were some really nice choices. I went with the Boston cream donut, and again, dairy-free, blowing my mind. Off we headed to our third donut destination, which was located in a mall. One of my favorite things about Philadelphia is the art. No matter where you go, you're going to see art. Murals, statues, sculptures, you name it, you're going to see it. It's a really lovely aesthetic to experience while you are in the city. It's Tiffany's Bakery, where we tasted donuts that instead of being baked or fried, they're steamed. So they're a little bit more dense, but delicious. We left the mall and headed over to the Reading Terminal Market. This market blew my mind. There were so many different vendors selling all kinds of things, from drinks to oysters to cookies to crepes to meat counters, produce. It was all there. We were heading in to go to our fourth donut destination. So Tiago, who is our tour guide, pre-ordered donuts for us. Out we headed onto the street where we could have a little bit more space and hear each other. And we each got a blueberry fritter. It was so yummy that I definitely want to try to make these at home. If you would like to experience this underground donut tour, check out the link in the description below. On Sunday morning, I signed up for a coffee brewing class. So I headed over and met up with Luis, who runs a business out of this building that is filled with creatives and artists, studios. It has a very bohemian feel to it. We spent the next hour and a half to 2 hours talking about coffee, brewing coffee, tasting coffee. It was really, really neat. Something that I highly recommend. It's not probably on people's travel to-do list when you go to Philadelphia, but do something a little different. Experience something with a local. Luis buys his beans from certain importers and he buys them from certain places in South America. He roasts them right there in his own studio. Very excited to join this class. Learning something new is always fun. We approached this experience almost like a science experiment. We looked at the ratio between water to coffee beans and changed them each time to see if we could get a different result, a stronger coffee, a coffee that maybe has the certain notes. Luis showed me how to use this large grinder, which was really fun. And there's a dial on the front that you can turn to set it to the right size of coffee grounds that you are looking for. This fresh ground coffee smelled so good. There were other options of ways to brew the coffee. We went with this one, but we could have also chosen the AeroPress and a few other options. Because I have an AeroPress at home, I really wanted to try something a little bit different. We put the coffee grounds into the filter, gave it a nice shake and a tap, let things settle, and then added just a smidge of hot water and let it sit for about a minute to let the coffee start to open up, start to bloom. We were going for 250 grams of water. So after putting in the initial amount, I then added more water until the scale said 250. We wait for the coffee to do what the coffee does, give it a little swirl, and then we just wait for it to work its way down through the grounds into the coffee pot. Once most of the water had gone through, we gave it a little shake. We gave our pot a little swirl to make sure everything was well mixed. And then it was time to serve up some coffee. So Luis offers classes in roasting and brewing, but he also sells his coffee online. So I've put some information here into the video about his company, but also I will put into the notes some information so that you can order some of his coffee and try it for yourself at home. You can go directly to his website, and this is where you can find classes and workshops. And then the weekend was coming to a close, and it was time to drive back to Connecticut. So it was time to say goodbye to Philadelphia and look forward to seeing the city another time. One of the things I really loved about Philadelphia was all of the murals and the art, like I had mentioned earlier in the video. I think that definitely the next time I go, I'm going to be looking for a walking tour that is focused purely on murals and artwork around the city.
Spent only 5 million refurbishing for no one to go inside.
Had a quick stop off in New Jersey where I recharged our car, and then it was time to go home. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time.